And hello, everyone. Welcome to Power Scanning. It is March 14, 2026. My name is Daniel, and I will be your moderator in this session. And once again, today we will be on the lookout for the most interesting swing trading setups for the week and the weeks ahead. I am greeting you today from our beautiful office here in Montreal. It's a snowy day. Yes, the winter is back. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we had quite a bit of snow yesterday. It's all white. It's still snowing out there. I was hopeful last week that, hey, maybe spring is there, but not yet. So, snowy day once again here in Montreal. Before we get started with everything, where are you guys calling in from today? Who do we have in the room today? Please put your location into the Q&A box. All right. So, we have Edda from Hamburg. Hey, Edda, wie geht's? Moin, moin to Hamburg. We have Linda from Orangeville, Ontario, I remember. And Linda saying thank you already in advance for Pearls of Wisdom. All right. Oh my gosh. Pressure is on. I'll try. Robert from Bavaria. Hey, Robert. Wie geht's? How are you? Andreas from Mainz in Germany near Frankfurt. Hey, Andreas. How are you? Keith from Scotland near the border to England. Hey, Keith. Good to have you back. How's the weather over there? Is it? I guess it's not snowing in Scotland right now. Perhaps it's raining. Fabian from Hanover. Hey, Fabian. How's it going? And we have Aubrey from Cyprus in the room. 19 degrees in Cyprus. Nice. And he says, out of interest, what is snow? Yes, yes. Very funny, Aubrey. And we have also Jens from Frankfurt. Hey, Jens, how's it going? And Daryl from San Francisco, 67 degrees Fahrenheit, which is, if I had to guess, maybe 15 degrees centigrade, something like this, perhaps. We have Markus from Freiburg. Hey, Markus, how are you? In southern Germany. And we have Andreas from Hamburg and Thierry from Munich. Hey, Thierry, how are you? How's Munich these days? Wow, lots of German. And we have also Erkan from Baden-Baden, also in southern Germany. Perfect. Went Arkin from Wuppertal. Wow. I think the German population or audience here is taken over. Yeah. Maybe it's I don't know why. It's definitely in those scanning session here on Saturday. I think it's a better time for most people in Europe. And we have also Kevin from the Hamptons in New York. Hey, Kevin, how are you doing? We have Keith from, oh, the rain stopped in Scotland. Okay, good. Good for you. I'm glad you get a break with the rainy weather. And we have Benedict from Göttingen. Hey, Benedict, how are you? All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your location with me. Let's get started with our session today. A quick reminder that once again today we will be on the lookout for swing trades. A swing trade typically lasts from between 1 and 20 weeks, so it's not really it's not a day trade which you would open and close within the same day, and it's also not really a long or super long-term investment which you may hold for many years or perhaps for all your life. So it's really in the middle between these two extremes. And what I will be showing you today, and perhaps you've seen it many, many times, is what we call our 13 minutes strategy. Why 30 minutes? Well, the number is not really important. What's important is that this is something that you can do on your own in just a few minutes. You can do this after work when the market is closed, maybe if you're on the East Coast or in North America, in that time zone, the market closes at 4 p.m. At 6 p.m., all the data is refreshed. You can open up the dashboard and look for interesting symbols which may become relevant tomorrow when the market opens again. Or if you're in Europe, you can do this in the morning of your time or perhaps at your lunch break before the US market opens. And once again, you can use this scanning process to find symbols of interest. How this works, we're going to show or see together today. Real quick, for those of you who perhaps don't know us yet, we are tradingindicators.com. My name is Daniel here on the left-hand side, and together with Homa here in the middle, we have created trading indicators more than 10 years ago. And over the course of these 10 years, we have built more than 1,000 trading indicators for clients all over the world. And about halfway through our journey, Niklas has joined us, has joined our team. And Niklas is also in the room today, and he'll be on the lookout for any questions that you may have and any symbol requests. So if you have any questions and would like to have a symbol reviewed, please put these into the Q&A box of your Zoom window. Before we get into all of this, a quick reminder that trading does contain risk and therefore is not suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to only use risk capital, which is money that you actually can afford to lose. when it comes to backtest performance or hypothetical performance or really anything based on historical price data, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance, and any trade ideas and strategies discussed in this webinar should not be construed as trade advice. These are for educational purposes only. All right, so with this out of the way, let's go through a couple of housekeeping items real quick, and then we're gonna start with our market review. So what we will be doing today is to use our scanner, which is called Liquidity View, to scan for interesting setups. This is going to be an interactive exercise, and it would be best if you followed along. So if you don't have access to our dashboard yet, of course, if you already have access, you just follow along. If you don't have access yet, you can sign up right here now for a trial for a full week. For this, all you need to do is to go to tradingindicators.com/view and sign up. And the good thing about this is that immediately, this will take less than a minute to sign up, maybe even less than this, to sign up, and you will get access immediately and you can follow along. You won't be charged. You have to enter your payment information, but you will not be charged. And within that week, you can cancel at any time. And if you want to stay on board afterwards, we have interesting monthly and yearly options for this. And Niklas, please put this link into the chat box. It's already there. Perfect. Next, we do have a very extensive bootcamp recorded. We recorded this one, I think, 3 weeks ago. More than 3 hours of information about how to use the pro version of the Liquidity View dashboard. It's very comprehensive. We went through every single feature. There's so many features in that dashboard that it took us more than 3 hours to go through all of them. If you want to know what the dashboard has to offer, head to toe, everything, a very thorough overview, check out this bootcamp at tradingindicators.com. And just keep in mind, if you do, you will not need to use all these features for your trading. The idea is to show you what's out there and then just pick, perhaps this is a feature I'd like to use. Maybe I want to look at dividends, maybe at options pricing, maybe at certain setups. Check it out and just pick the features that you want to use. But for this, you need to know what's out there first. This is why we have recorded this bootcamp. And lastly, we do have a Discord channel at tradingindicators.com/Discord. In there, we're posting setups, we're answering questions. Check it out at this link here. Registration is completely free. We also have an ebook called The Power of Three, and all these links will be now put into the chat box, tradingindicators.com/power-of-3 to download this ebook free of charge. And lastly, then we're going to start with our market overview. If you have any feedback or would like to have some symbols added or whatever it might be about our Liquidity View dashboard, don't be shy. Your feedback is what drives the further development of our dashboard. So please don't be shy. Put your feedback into the Q&A box or send us an email afterwards, and we're more than happy to look into this and use it to further improve this dashboard. As you know, pretty much every single week, more or less, maybe every second week, we are adding new features to this dashboard. Most of those are driven by your feedback. All right, so with this, let's start with our market review. What has happened on the market in the last week? Well, it was not an easy week. Most of the values that we typically look for, they have seen some pullbacks. Prices went down. One example of this is the SPY, the ETF that tracks the S&P 500. Now I'm going to open it up right here. We can see on our chart, once I zoom out a little bit, we went down a little bit to the 661 price level, and we are now nearing this support level here around 651, only about 10 points away. And if this happens, I think this can be an interesting long opportunity to potentially enter into a long position here in the SPY right at this support level. Entering right here, to me, perhaps a bit too risky. I think there might be another leg further down. Right now, we are still just at a level 4 pullback. If we are coming down a bit further, maybe this is going to go to level 5, which is not now a sweet spot anymore. We typically like to enter level 4 or 5, but it's just barely going to be level 5. So for me, it's still going to be fine. Entering potentially long here, anticipating that the overarching uptrend in which we are in for many, many years now in the SPY, you can see it here, this uptrend is going to continue. So here, bullish since May 2023. So that was the SPY. It's similar in the QQQs. So I'm going to open up the Qs right now. All right. There we go. The NASDAQ 100 ETF. Also here, level 4 pullback. And here you can see level 4 levels down here with Friday's price action where we lost uh, a bit of a price. Our price went bearish on Friday. And also here we are nearing this support level. We're still a bit further away. So here we have still ways to go. But also here in the Qs, if you believe, okay, all this tension in the Middle East might, was a big might, who knows what's going to happen, might find an end soonish. Markets will recover. Now would be the time to load the wagon, perhaps wait for maybe a bit of more of a pullback here towards the zone, and then uh, anticipate that this overarching uptrend is going to continue in the future. So you don't want to enter up here where things are near resistance. You want to enter when things are near support, anticipating a bounce to the upside. IWM, the Russell 2000 ETF. And to me, the symbol that looks the best right now, because here we are right now already at our target entry zone. This rectangle here, or square, whatever it is, we drew this one on or last Saturday, I believe, or perhaps on Tuesday. I forget when it was. A couple of days back, we drew this one as our ideal entry point. Prices came down here. I believe it was last Saturday. We are now at our entry level here, which coincides. So it's a level 4 pullback, first of all, and it coincides with this cluster of former resistance now acting as support and a native support level, this little reddish area here. So to me, I mean, I see this every time. If I had to choose one symbol, SPY, QQQ, or IWM, I probably would choose the IWM for a bullish entry because here we are already at a key technical level. And let's face it, in the past, oftentimes the IWM was a forerunner for a market move. So it's been a leader before the SPY and the QQQ could catch up. So perhaps you're going to see, first of all, a bullish move here, and then the other symbols may follow suit. All right, at least that's my theory. Okay, moving on. USO, the United States Oil Fund. Oh boy, untradeable for me right now at this level. Super overbought. Let me just apply real quick for the fun of it, our or the RSI indicator to it to give you an idea of how overbought things are right now in USO. RSI levels of around 85. That's really high up, and oftentimes a sign, okay, things are really expensive up here. There is a good chance of a correction to the downside. We also have a gap to fill here. So going long, even though of course we clearly broke out, and political tensions may have this oil price increase even further. But oftentimes after such a big move up, a correction is in order. We did see a bit of a correction here last week already. When the RSI only went down a little bit. That's remarkable. We're still so overbought. So I think something more meaningful to the downside might be happening. Of course, I might be completely wrong. But for me, it's an untradeable symbol right now. Going long here, too risky. Going short against this big up move. And who knows what's going to happen in the Middle East. I'll just stay away from oil right now. All right, moving on. Gold and silver. Two symbols which have become very interesting, one a bit more than the other. Let's start with gold first. So gold is currently pulling back, level 3 pullback. And for the last, well, since I have to say, since August 2025, this is the best we could get in gold in terms of pullbacks. Look how bullish this trend is. The last level 4 pullback was back in August 25th. Before this, it's been only level 3. Level 3, level 3, level 3, level 3, 3, 3, and then we immediately recovered from this. Why do I say this? Because I am thinking of establishing a gold position, but I will wait a bit more. I might miss out on it, but I will wait a bit more until prices potentially come down to this level here, 444. This probably will then be a level 4 pullback, I would imagine. But to me, this upper MA rush line here, this average line, to me, that's the ideal entry point. Because in the past, look what happened here. Prices came exactly to this line and then they bounced. They came to this line and then they bounced to this line and bounced, to this line and bounced, to this line and bounced. That has been the line in the sand in the past. I will patiently wait. I already have some gold exposure to some stocks. So I'm not going to miss out if gold takes off on Monday, but I'm not going to enter here. I'm going to be waiting for prices to come down to this level here to potentially establish a long position in gold. All right, so that's gold, but silver. is even more interesting. SLV. We lost 5% on Friday in silver. Silver options, very expensive at 10.79. Heat index, meaning you pay 10% premium if you were to buy option for options for 30 days till expiration at the money. That's high. Yeah, oftentimes. In gold, for example, just to contrast this real quick, in gold we had 4.21%. Big difference. So silver is very volatile. That's priced into the options, obviously. But what do we see here in terms of technicals on the chart? So options are expensive. I'll take the RSI off here. We don't need it anymore. We are coming down to the lower end of this consolidation channel in which silver is in right now. If we have a level 4 pullback, if we are coming down maybe a little bit more on Monday, I'm thinking of potentially selling some puts or establishing a bull put credit spreads with silver to anticipate two things. First off, I believe that volatility, even though it's been volatile for a long time now in silver, might go down. So 10% premium is quite high overall. Maybe it's going to come down. That's going to help my sold puts or credit spreads in that case. And I believe we may see another push to the higher level. So selling puts, for example, here, if you get 10% premium, basically it's like, you enter at what's 10%, $7 lower than current price, around 65, right at this lower end here. So two ways to do it. Either you wait for prices to come down a little bit further, or if you want to get in early, because prices may recover immediately on Monday, then even selling puts right now or doing something with silver could be an interesting play. All right, last symbol. What's going on with Bitcoin? I was very close. I was busy on Friday with some other stuff, but I was very close in pulling the trigger. Let me just quickly hide my drawings here. In pulling the trigger for a day trade in Bitcoin as prices came up to this level here on 74,000. You can see it here. Prices came up here. We noted this last week when we had our scanning session. This is our classic zone break retrace setup to the bearish direction. So I was thinking at the time, oh my God, Bitcoin is exactly where it was a couple of weeks ago, and now it's there again. Potentially, this could cause a bounce in price. It happened. I did not enter it. I'm a little bit annoyed about this. For a day trade, overall, I think we do see some signs that a bottom here may have formed in Bitcoin, but for the bulls to really regain charge, we want prices to come above this level here. We need to get above the 74, 75,000 level, because then I think we're going to see another leg further up and bulls will be back in charge. But right now, we have to wait and see if we can break above this level here around 74,000. So this was Bitcoin. Let me just quickly check what are the live prices of Bitcoin right now at 70,000 right now. Okay, we went a little bit lower, but pretty much where we left last Friday. All right, so this was our market overview. And Niklas, are there any questions which
No, Daniel.
have been coming in?
Nobody's brought anything up yet. You're good to continue.
Perfect. All right, with this, let's now go quickly back to my slides. Actually, sorry, there's one more thing I want to do is I want to quickly review what has happened to the picks that we found last week. So I'm going to open up the watch list from last week called Weekly Swing Trades from March the 7th. And every subscriber of the dashboard has this watch list also in your account. Let's have a quick look what happened here. All right. So Amphenol Corporation, this was also our trade of the week in our newsletter, if I'm not mistaken. I still like it very much. We had a very encouraging up bounce already. Prices came down a little bit, but now up again. I really like this symbol for a bullish entry, especially even right now at these price levels. So we're still in the vicinity of this support level here. I believe this overarching uptrend has a good chance in continuing. So it's already in a good position, but even if you're not in this one yet, you may consider entering into a long position here of Amphenol. Commerzbank, a German stock, as you may say. Also interesting. We had a beautiful bounce already last week. We came all into the middle of this, almost the middle of the sideways channel. If you are really a swing trader, maybe you took some profits here already. Well, back in the soup, back at the support level. I still think, still a good opportunity to enter along here. We jumped up a bit, now back here. Of course, the overall markets went down. There's some uncertainty in the market, of course, for good reason. Lots of stocks came down. Commerzbank, the stock here was no a stranger to this. So I still like it, even though here we're pretty much at the level where we entered last week. Capricorn Metals, yeah, that one let me down a little bit. Unfortunately, I had really good hopes for this Australian stock. We lost this support level, now trading a bit lower, but coinciding with this low here. So to me, you know what? If you're in this, I mean, we only dropped the maybe 5%, nothing really extreme, and we're coinciding with this swing low here. If we can hold this level, we'll see how markets open on, I guess Sunday. It's an Australian stock. If we can perhaps bounce on this level, I think this overarching trend will continue. But of course, we did lose this level here, which is not the best area. Below this, we have a level here at 1085, where we could find a bottom, and then afterwards here at 883. And if you want to go really extreme at 556, but I would not hold this position until this level. So I think maybe a stop loss at 1082, perhaps wise. If we go below this, I believe a deeper correction may be in order. But so far, if you're in this trade, I would hold on to it. All right, Rheinmetall, also a German stock in the weapons industry. In a sideways consolidation channel, we are at the lower end. This one bounced up nicely from our entry area here. We didn't quite get there, but we still saw some bounce. So far, so good with Rheinmetall. Venax Semiconductors, also a really beautiful bounce here. We, yeah, bounced nicely. Then a bit of a retracement, but still this one is nicely in profit. StoneX, yeah, a bit disappointed with this one too. Slightly below this support level or former resistance. I'm still positive. It's just a level 4 pullback, but it might go a bit deeper. But if you look in the past here, just take these trend lines off. If you look in the past, these deeper corrections, they have happened in the past. And this can happen. StoneX, however, is a very bullish symbol. And I believe it's gonna come up. And if you're in this trade, I would just also stay in this trade. And finally, we have Steel Dynamics. Yeah, this one unfortunately lost its support level. The next one is to be found here, potentially here at 165 and then 155. Still in a bullish trend, still only level 4 pullback, but here I guess we have to use a bit more of a long-term strategy to bring this one into profits again. So overall, like a mixed outcome, I would say. Of course, market conditions were extremely difficult with all the uncertainty in the market, but at least, I think every single symbol is still in decent shape, and I would not give up on those. All right. So, but of course, today we want to scan for new symbols, which have become of interest. And what we typically look for, I'm just going to skip some of these slides here. What we typically look for are stocks, because we typically go bullish, are stocks which are already in an uptrend. The trend is your friend. The chances that the trend is going to continue are simply higher than the trend to reverse. That's a market fact. And there's some statistics to back this up. So we want to enter with the trend. If the stock is already in a bullish trend, that's great. We're going to be looking for these stocks which are already bullish. But of course, as a trend trader, there are good moments to enter into a trend, and there are not so good moments. So we're going to be looking and patiently waiting for a good moment, which typically is when prices get a bit cheaper, when prices are not as extended, not as far away from their averages. So we're going to use our trend radar indicator, this one down here, to look for either a level 3 or a level 4 pullback. We call these healthy pullbacks because they're right in the sweet spot. They're not too small and not too big. Not too small because, it's just very small. It's not so meaningful. If it's too big, to me, the chances that the overall trend may completely reverse are elevated. So maybe I want to stay away from these ones too. So level 3, level 4 are right in the sweet spot of these two extremes. All right. And then we also want to find a stock. We want to find this pullback to coincide with a key technical level, which can either be a native support level. We call this native support level because they were originally support. Of course, their role may change over time, but originally they were identified as support and they were called in red. And what's really important here is that price comes from the top down to the support level. That's really what matters. We want to approach a key level from the top. We're coming down to this level. This would be our pullback. Well, this coincides with a key level, and we may see a bounce towards higher price levels. That's one way to do it. Another way to find a key level is to look for a pullback into a former resistance level. Once again, it matters from where price gets to the level. If you come from the top, it will act as support. This is what we want for our bullish trades. All right, so how can we find these setups with our scanner? So I'm going to go back to the scanner. I'm going to go back to all the symbols. And right now we're scanning through 5,742 symbols. And I'm going to enter my criteria. And criteria number one was we want to be in a long-term uptrend. For this, we're going to use our MA rush column here, which is a column based on our MA rush indicator, our trend indicator. Let's pick one example here, A2M, for example. The A2 Milk Company, you can see here, MA rush prints this bullish label on the chart, also prints bearish labels on the chart. But whatever the last label is on the chart, this one will give you your trend direction. So in this case, it's bullish. It's the last label on the chart. This stock is in an uptrend. And we can use, if you look here at the scanner, we can use this column here, MA rush, which is named after the indicator, to find or to filter for symbols which are currently bullish. So in this case here, we can see this one is bullish, has a little green arrow to the upside. And we can also see a number here, 503, which gives us the trend duration, meaning this symbol here has been an uptrend for 503 trading days. So what I want to find is stocks which are in an uptrend, like this. So I'm using this filter here. Go to the filter symbol and go to bullish. Every single symbol now here is bullish. But some are better, some are not so great. An example is this one here. Agilent Corporation or Technologies. Yes, we are bullish, but would I go long now at this price point? Probably not, because this bullish trend is only in place for the last 99 days. To me, not the most interesting symbol. I want my symbol to be bullish for longer. This is why I now, and my scanning right now, also for my trade alerts, I am using this filter here. Bullish for at least 500 trading days. This is typically the filter I use. So let's use this one. Once we click on it, we can see that from our 5,742 symbols, currently 801 symbols are in this long-term uptrend. All right. So an example here, ACA. Let's check it out. ACA, yeah, is in a long-term uptrend. That looks much better. That's a much more established uptrend. Okay. So that's great. And I like ECA here a lot. Let me just hide this a little bit, because also ECA coincidentally is also in a level 4 pullback. You can see my little trend radar indicator. 1, 2, 3, 4 levels down. Level 4 pullback. This is great. We can also see this here in the scanner. Now, this one has a number 4, a green number 4, level 4 pullback within a bullish trend. That's why this color here is green. And what we can do now with this pullback column, we can filter for only stocks which have this level 3 pullback or potentially level 3 pullback. Both I like, both I would consider a healthy pullback. And you can see now, with this additional filter, we're now down to 326 symbols. Let me just check one out here. AGI, level 3 pullback. We can see it here. Beautiful. Nice uptrend for 832 trading days. Pulled back 3 levels. Great stock for potentially entering long. But there's one more thing, and which would potentially disqualify this stock here for a long entry. I want, in an ideal world, I want my stock to coincide with a key technical level. Is price right now here at a key technical level? No, it's not. It's quite far away. The next technical level here would be at 37. Price is at 45. I want to trade when stocks or when the odds are stacked in my favor. Okay, so here I would wait. But there are stocks which are currently at technical levels, and we can filter for these stocks. And since these technical levels here are given to us by our trend, our liquidity IQ indicator, this one here, we also have a column based on this indicator. What I can do here, I can use the filter to either look for a long bounce, which would mean price comes down to a key support level, a native support level, or long big retrace, meaning price comes down to a former resistance level. And once I do this, you can see it here, we only have 33 stocks remaining. Let me just pick one. Randomly. Honeywell International. Yeah, look at this. It checks all the boxes. Long-term uptrend. You'll see in a second. It's a bit too wavy for me, but long-term uptrend since December 2023. We are in the level 3 pullback, 1 to 3 levels down. You can see it here. And where we are near this technical level, not completely at it, because the indicator will always give you a bit of a heads up. But technically, we're coming down to a technical level. I will not trade the stock. It's too wavy for me. So my last check after all this scanning is to use my, my eye, my, I guess, trained eye to see, hey, is this a stock I want to trade? Is this a stable uptrend? In this case, a bit too wavy for my taste. And these pullbacks along the way are just too big. I don't trust it that much. So I'm going to stay away. But it's really my last check. Okay, and I want to do one more thing is, remember when I said in the beginning, the longer a trend has been established, the better it typically is. So the last thing I usually do is to sort by trend duration, by simply clicking on this Rush column here and sorting from highest to lowest. And the first symbol that comes up is the Franklin US Equity ETF from the London Stock Exchange. We're not going to consider this. It is nonetheless a nice trade, nice symbol here, pulling back to this level here. Too illiquid for me. Not sure many of you are interested in trading this. So I'm going to skip this one. I was going to skip the next one here, the SWDA.EL, an MSCI World ETF. Not sure what happened here, but there's something off of this data. I'm going to skip these ones, even though you can see, I think this is a data error here. This one up there, definitely an interesting setup, but it's too narrow, this range, first of all, to this resistance level on top. Let's just skip it. Let's go to the real gems here. The next one here, the actual stocks, the Curtis Wright Corporation. All right, let's check it out. What do we have here? First of all, very stable uptrend. I like it a lot. And we are coming down. We're not quite there yet to this key resistance level. I like it. I'm going to add this one to our list for next week, especially if we can come down a bit closer to this level here. That would be a great entry point to potentially go along this particular symbol. One thing to be pointed out, options are relatively expensive here, so you may even consider doing something with short puts for this long-term uptrending symbol. So I'm going to add this one to our watch list for next week. For this, I have to first create this watch list. So let me go down here, create my weekly swing trades. There we go. Swing trades column 2026-03-14, today's date. Create. I will add this symbol to our list here. There we go. And I will now also share this watch list with you guys. I'm going to click on this little share button here. So you can also have this in your account. And I will unshare the watch list from February the 7th, because we agreed, a little survey out there, only the last 5 of these watch lists will be shared with you. And by the way, if you are tired of seeing my watch list in here, you actually have an option in your settings. It's going to be looking a bit different for my settings here, but in your settings, you should be able to see watch list selector right here. You can click on it and you will have my watch list listed here. You can deselect the ones that you want to see in this dropdown. So that's possible. You can clean up your appearance that way. All right, moving on. The Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. Yeah, let's just also skip this one. This one follows the S&P 500. We already reviewed it. So I'll rather trade the SPY in that case. Moving on, the CRS, the Carpenter Technology Corporation. I like it. Once again, a stock in a long-term stable uptrend, currently pulling back level 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 levels down. In the past, all these level 4 pullbacks have been quickly bought up. I see this also as an interesting opportunity to potentially enter here into a long trade. So CRS Corporation, another symbol for our watch list. All right, moving on. Amphenol Corporation. I love this symbol. I like it a lot. Even we had this on our watch list last week. Prices already went up a little bit, came down a little bit. If you're not in this trade yet, potentially consider re-entering. I think it's a really stable uptrend for a long time. Amphenol Corporation. So perhaps wait for things to come down a little bit further, but I'm going to add it one more time to our list. All right, moving on. You can see how easy this is to just go through this list here. VSEC, the VSE Corp. Also interesting. You can see it here. Long-term uptrend, pulling back here. Actually, it's a bit of an anomaly here. Pulling back with 4 levels down as per trend radar. Approaching this cluster of former resistance now acting as support and an actual support level. This is the red line here. So here, resistance and support pretty much at the same price point, and the last candle has a liquidity capture event. As you know, these events are certain, especially events that we scan or that the indicator shows us, and then we can also scan for where price comes close to a level and the candle that comes close to that level has abnormally high volume. And we see this as, hey, something is up. Somebody is interested in this particular symbol right now at this price point. And oftentimes this can be a sign that, hey, the likelihood of seeing a bounce of this level is simply higher than seeing a break of this level. So I like it. I'm going to be adding this one as well to our list. Moving on, CLS Celestica. I have actually a position open in this particular symbol. I like it still, even though we've been struggling with this level here. We broke it a little bit, came back up. Now we're right at the vicinity here. I have a bull put credit spread open for the symbol. The reason I opened this a couple of days ago, the reason for this was, first of all, I anticipate the stock to bounce to the upside here at this lower channel, which is still valid. And lastly, option prices are quite high at 9.24%. But since we already discussed it a few times, I'm going to skip it for today. Next one, the Ralph Lauren Corporation. Another interesting symbol. You can see it here. Price are in a long-term uptrend. Currently pulled back to key support. Level 4 pullback on trend radar. I like it for an entry for Monday potentially. Let's see where the market opens on Monday. But this is an interesting one. All right. Let me just go back a little bit further. The XLK technology ETF. Oh, that's interesting. This technology, of course, has been struggling a bit, especially software. Technology in general too, but especially software has been struggling, nearing support here. Yeah, potentially this could be. Of course, technology has been a long-term uptrend with its, little phases of weaknesses, but at this price level, potentially, yeah, another entry right at the support level here. So yeah, let's add it to our list. And we also have the S&P 500 futures in here. We already reviewed the S&P 500 ETF, the SPY, but also the futures. And you can see we are nearing this key support level. The reason why this futures contract is already showing up as a long bounce setup and the SPY, just real quick, is not showing up as a long bounce is because, of course, prices are not identical. And here we're simply not close enough to this level yet. If we go a bit closer, it will also show up as a long bounce. All right, so let me go back one more time to our scan here. I'm just going to re-enter our criteria real quick. You can see this only takes a couple of seconds. All right, and if you know what you're doing, I mean, this scanning process can be super, super fast. All right. Okay, and then perhaps one or two more symbols. The THC, the Tenet Healthcare Corporation. Now, this one I'm not going to do. I'm going to skip this one. Huge move up here. And if you were at yesterday's Gap IQ Masterclass, you would have identified this one here as a fair value gap. You can see it here, this big bar up. The low of this price of this candle here is bigger than the high of this one here. That's a fair value gap. These ones oftentimes get tested and price may come down to it. Even though there's not an actual gap on the chart, it's a fair value gap. I'm going to stay away from this one. The chance of a bigger retracement to me is a bit too high. And perhaps one more, the Fidelity MSCI Technology ETF. Yeah, pretty much, I guess, similar to the XLK. Also here, potentially, if technology recovers, I think this one will recover as well. But let's add it to our list as well. Perfect. Good. I think there's some really nice symbols here that yeah, will be interesting for the next week. And before we get to your symbol request, let me see if there are some questions coming in. Nicholas?
No, surprisingly, no questions today. Guess everything's super clear.
No question, not even a symbol request?
Not yet.
Oh my goodness. Everybody's quiet and just listening carefully. I like that. Okay, perfect. So let's just quickly go through our list to see which ones I like the best, and let's also create some trade notes. Okay, so this is our list for next week. It's all in our watch list already. You should be able to see this list in your account as well. Let's just quickly go through each of those to see what exactly here is the game plan. Yeah, Curtiss-Wright Corporation. I'll wait for a bit of a deeper pullback, and then this could be a really interesting long opportunity. Let me add a trade note for this. And by the way, we did have a nice entry here at 551 back in November as one of our trade ideas. Of course, prices are now at 652. That would have been a really good trade. Okay, so I'm going to add a new trade note of today's timestamp with exactly the same setup right here. And by the way, the setup we had in November for Curtis Wright, CW, was this one here. Look at this one here. This is the annotation from back then. This was our entry here. What a beautiful move we saw afterwards. So a good stock to consider. CRS, yes, I like it too. We'll come a bit closer. So for all these stocks, I'm going to wait a little bit for them to pull back a bit more, ideally. There's also a gap that is not completely filled. You can see this little gap here. So let's have this one come down a bit further, and then we're looking for a long entry. I like it too. Also this one, look at this one. We had this on our radar on May 24th, 2025, when prices were at 230, now at 361. Wow, what a good trade that would have been too. Let's add it again to our list. All right. Continuing. Safe. And just real quick here, what happened in May here? Where was May? Let's see if we can see this setup here. Yeah, here, that was our entry back then. What a nice move we had afterwards. Amphenol Corp, our trade of the week in our newsletter. I still very much like it. A beautiful, stable uptrend. I think this is a good opportunity here to get into this overarching uptrend. I still like it. We had this on our radar a week ago. I will put it back on our list for this week as well. All right. Safe. All right, it's coming in. Next one, VSE Corp. Okay. Yeah. Oh, this one is also nice, especially with the liquidity capture at the last bar and price coming down to this cluster of former resistance and support. Yeah. To be added as well. Okay. What I'm doing here, I'm just creating trade notes so we can remember a bit later. Hey, what was our thinking when we entered long? Yeah. This is always good to do a bit of retrospective. Hey, why did I enter this trade? What was my thinking? This can be used to refine your trading in the future. Ralph Lauren Corp. All right. Yeah, like it to look very stable up. Bullish trend here. Let's add it as well. And for the next two ones here, I'm just going to pick one of the two. The MSCI World versus the US technology. Let's stick with the US technology here. I believe that. Yeah, similar on options pricing here, but weekly options are available. Maybe there's a bit more liquidity in this XLK ETF. Let's just use this one. They will have very similar setups. I'm going to only pick this one as a potential long entry. But let me just quickly review. But I don't really, you know what? I'm going to stay away. It's just a bit too much of a downwards wedge here. If you were to, technicians may say, this is a descending triangle. Yeah, and it might break to the downside. And if it does, then bad things may happen here. I'm gonna skip it. I don't think this. Well, I'm not saying this, but let's just because of this technical formation here, stay away from XLK and also from the MSCI World Fund in Technology. Perfect. Nonetheless, I think we have some very nice and solid picks for next week. Okay. Now, before we get to your symbols, a quick reminder that if you like what you saw today, if you want to do these scans on your own, which is not only something you can do on the weekend, you can do it after every single trading day after the market closes. It'll only take a couple of minutes. If I wasn't talking so much, you can probably do it in like 1 or 2 minutes. Find these interesting setups, and then you have, something to look forward to when the market reopens. You double check where market prices are when they open. You check what options prices are with your broker, decide what kind of strategy you want to do for a bullish setup, let's say, or a bearish one. You can also scan for bearish setup, and then you execute. So this can really simplify your trading approach. It's been very beneficial for my own personal trading, which I now only do with our Liquidity View dashboard. So if you find interest in this, simply go to tradingindicators.com/view and check it out for 1 full week of a free trial. And afterwards, we have interesting monthly and yearly options. All right. So now let me go back now to your symbol request. Nicholas, can you read out some symbols for me, please?
Sure. The first one is AFM.V. And Aubrey says it's not on Liquidity dashboard. Please add it. It looks like a 1 IQ power bounce setup at a volume IQ tier 2.
AF, is it this one here?
.V.
.V.
It's probably the one that's on the TSXV right there, the second one. Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
Alpha.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it is that one. Alphamin Resources.
And okay, perfect. And Nicholas, please put this note into our Slack channel.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it might be if you're coming down. Yeah. One IQ power bounce. Okay. I'm not going to talk too much about this, but we call something a power bounce, which this one gets into the vicinity of if the trend is bullish. And we're coming down to a cluster or combination, I'd say, of the zone of control of volume IQ, which is right here. You can see this highest volume node here, and which is backed up by what we call a second line of defense, in this case, this support level here. Yeah, Aubrey, it's interesting. Absolutely for potential bounce. For me personally, I like it to be reversed. I like my first, support level be an actual support level of liquidity IQ, and this one is then being backed up below by the zone of control. That's typically what I scan for. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I like it for a long trade, absolutely. But maybe wait for prices to come down a little bit closer. Oh, it's very cheap stock too, huh?
Yeah,
Okay, interesting.
Aubrey says low cost producer, record production, discretionary 9.5% dividend yield.
Ooh, is it? Okay, cool, great. Yeah. Nicholas, please add this one to our list. That's an interesting one for
Hmm.
sure. Okay,
Then
next.
the next symbol is IBIT from Daryl.
A bit, yeah. All right, the Bitcoin ETF, yeah, very much correlated probably with the faith of Bitcoin. We saw a long break retrace set up in Bitcoin. We see this exact same thing here. Yeah, this is the key level here at 42. We need to get above this level for the bulls being in charge. But of course, this one follows spot Bitcoin, I believe, mostly. So I would probably do my technical analysis with actual spot Bitcoin. And here we can see, okay, this level is key. 74,000. We need to get above this level in a sustained manner for the bulls to regain control. We're not there yet. As I mentioned here, I saw this setup on Friday at noon. I just was busy with some stuff. For potential day trade there. Oh, man, Bitcoin is right there at this level. Might see a bounce to the downside happen exactly as this. Of course, you don't need to trust me, but I did see this one. Yeah, on our alerts. Anyways, yeah,
Next one.
IBIT would
Oh,
need to come above this level. So Bitcoin needs to come above this level to propel IBIT to higher levels as well.
the next symbol is HIMS.
HIMS, yeah. Yeah, popular symbol, which is
I have a
we can
question,
see
Daniel,
has
also
many.
from Sylvia of where I think you might have answered it, where they can find the fair value masterclass. That's going to be posted once I add the new components, right?
Yeah, exactly. We had a technical difficulty with NinjaTrader and Motivwave and our data provider on Friday. We're re-recording these two parts. Nicholas will put all these things together and then repost them this weekend. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so here, yeah, this is not my favorite symbol to trade to the long side or short side. I know it's been long-term bullish. It used to be, I should say, long-term bullish, coming from lower price levels all the way up to 65. Now here at 24. It's too much speculation for me, especially also with this gap here, which has not been filled yet. This up gap, you can see it here. So prices may come down, test this gap. Maybe here at 15, coinciding with these two levels here at 13 and maybe 12. It could be a good entry. I will stay away. Not my cup of tea.
Next symbol from Sylvia, NVIDIA.
Yeah. Good old NVIDIA in the magnet zone, meaning in between support and resistance for 12 trading days, just really being sideways, not doing much. NVIDIA, big down day on Friday, like most stocks, tech stocks alike. Yeah, kind of stuck in this range here, huh, between this resistance level at 194 and down here at 170. I would personally wait. Maybe we're gonna come a bit closer here to this entry point here and then pull the trigger on Nvidia. This could be a good long-term stock to have, but I would wait personally. Prices potentially coming down a bit closer and then enter long.
Okay, and now Marcus says, can you explain the trend and momentum analysis setting in Liquidity IQ, the indicator?
Oh yeah, yeah. If you're on the dashboard, those settings I believe are currently not working.
They're
Um,
actually not, yeah, because we've removed this out into, that's actually something we should remove.
yeah.
Those settings,
Um,
they
so
have no
this setting
effect.
here, I think this is just a legacy setting here, and I believe it has no effect when we change it. Um, Now what we do Mark, was it? We use Rush for this. So Rush is our trend or momentum indicator of choice. And we wanted to differentiate it from Liquidity IQ to have, a bit more flexibility there. So we don't use that setting. Use Rush instead and use the settings in Rush, whether you want to have noise filtering or whatever your calculation method will be to figure out what the current trend is.
Thank you, Daniel. The next symbol is IREN, IREN.
Yeah.
And David wants to know, do technicals tend to work less well in an environment heavily driven by volatile news?
I don't know. That's not, I don't have an answer to this. I don't know. I guess you would. It depends what news that is too. So I think it's unrelated. I think it's just what's happening with tech is a bit of skepticism that came in with the AI boom is as
No, it was about, sorry,
impacting.
Daniel, technical analysis. Does technical analysis work less well in a heavy news
Oh,
environment, in a volatile environment?
I guess so. Yeah, of course, things are very volatile. Things may just shatter to levels. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I misunderstood that question. Uh, and levels may not hold. And of course, one thing that's also required in high volatility environment is you need to give your trades a bit more space. Uh, we have an indicator called Super Trend Bullseye, which masters this. It adjusts its stop loss, or it finds its stop loss based on what is the current market's volatility. If markets are very volatile, puts the stop loss further away because you don't want to be zigzagged out. If markets are very calm and less volatile, the stop loss is closer. So you would need to use the same approach here for your trades. So if things are really, really volatile, maybe put your stop loss a bit further away so you don't get out in whipsaw action. Things are calm, you can put it closer. All right, back to Irene. Yeah, I like it. It's finding support here. But I don't really like too much is that we're spending a lot of time at this price level here. Things are very flat. So to say, ideally, I want to see a bounce almost immediately off a level, which is not the case here. Sometimes this can be seen as a sign, we're grinding a bit lower, step by step, eventually losing this level and coming a bit lower too. Um, and entering at this price point here, maybe you wait until we come down here. And I actually think that this level down here at 33 might be the actual line in the sand, the actual bottom of this kind of consolidation phase right now for Irene.
Thank you. Okay, and the next symbol is going to be again from Aubrey, TK.
TK,
Yeah,
this
there we go.
one, the
Um,
TK Corporation. All right.
long pullback for
Mm-hmm.
level 4
Oh, I
pullback.
like it. Yeah.
World's largest crude oil marine transportation company. Looks like a zone break retrace.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, sure. And I don't want to try to interpret what are the current implications of the crisis in the Middle East on this company. I don't have the knowledge for this, but from a technical point of view, absolutely, yeah, it looks nice. Bullish since May 27, big pullback here from 13 down to 10. Yeah, big pullback now coinciding with this level. I personally probably would not trade it because I'm just a bit too scared of if things escalate, this company may suffer, may see a deeper pullback, but that's everybody's choice. So, but yeah, from a technical point of view, it looks good. Absolutely. Hmm.
Our last symbol request from Erkan Novartis.
Yeah, Nevada's.
My aunt actually works at Novartis. She did.
Oh yeah, yeah, at the right near the airport, right?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
true?
exactly.
The Novartis. How do you spell this thing? What's the ticker
OVA.
symbol? Oh,
Novartis.
oh, Novartis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Novar. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Level 4 pullback. Ah, looks great. Yeah. I mean, the only thing here, which of course does not fit our playbook completely, is that this pullback does not coincide with a key technical level. Probably at a lower time frame, it might, if you go down to the 4 hour or maybe the 1 hour. Here on the daily, it does not. But nonetheless, I like it. Yeah, nice level 4 pullback, which is the deepest pullback since May 2025. Let me just go back a little bit further. Yeah, no, I like it. It's up. I mean, looks bullish to me. A nice gap here too. You can see there was a bit of a down gap here, which is a bullish sign. Yeah, if you want to enter long here without having the technical support, yeah, it's up to you. And yeah, the uptrend for sure looks very stable.
Perfect. Okay, we have no more requests.
Great. That was a quick session,
Oh,
which is
one last one, Daniel. Sorry. IBOT robot ETF, long four pullback.
I bought, yeah. Vanak Robotics ETF. Okay. Yeah. Good.
Looks like
Wow. Look at this
TK.
one. Looks good. Beaut. Yeah. Probably, if I had to make my pick between TK and this one, I would pick this one. I think it's less impact than what we may see in the Middle East. But yeah, it's a nice, beautiful uptrend. Nice level for pullback coinciding with this former resistance level. Yeah. Nice one. Perfect. Good. Thanks, Aubrey, for this. Let me just see how much dividend does on the dividends here. Oh, it's an ETF also. Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I'm happy this didn't take too long today because I had back-to-back webinars. The Germans among you may know I had my cap trader webinar due to the time change in Montreal on the East Coast. We're now 7 hours apart with the German time. That means that my cap trader webinar finished and I had to start this one right away. So I've been talking for the last 2 hours. I'm not too unhappy to get off a bit early today. I do think we have very nice setups for the next week. And this leaves me with have a nice weekend, everyone. Thanks, Niklas, for helping out today as always. And let's see what's going to happen next week. And watch out for your money, everyone. Until then, bye bye, guys.